Things that have served me well, that I think makes for a great leader, no matter if you're in journalism or you become a physical therapist or what have you, or Gina teaching. There's a few things that you should take with you. For me, it's motivation and drive. That'd be one. And integrity is super important because it's one thing that nobody can take away from you, and people value in you, and your reputation will precede you no matter where you go. Maybe had I been a screw up while I had been here at North, I don't know if I would have been asked to come back, so I hope that was the case. So drive, integrity,
Anthony Green.
And lastly, say strong sense of self and having confidence in the women that you all are and the wonderful human beings that you are, and doing good things in this world. So when I first started college after North, I wanted to go to University of Michigan. I remember coming in to Miss Gass, telling her I got in, and Mrs. Roman too, was very excited. And it was scary. You get there and it's a new world. There's lots of different things that to get involved in. Academics are different. There's this whole acclimation that you think you got under control, and then second semester comes around, freshman year, and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had it together in September, and I had no idea what I was doing. So there's a lot of adjustments, but you find being confident in yourself and carrying out values and morals that you all have picked up from having good families and good role models, and these two women here and others throughout North, that you find your niche, and you find people that are like you, and you find people that want to do well, and you associate with those people, and you go from there. Things that are going to allow you to succeed.
There's a big spike.
Thank you.
Those shoes are
Knew those were
good.
So I had this internship, and they wanted me to come back and have another go at it the next summer, and I decided I wanted to do something else. And so another seizing opportunities that are given to you is also really important. And don't be afraid to take advantage of people that you know in this world, and people that your mom and dad know, or that your teachers know. This is a relationship game. Again, when you leave those walls, it's a lot about who you know, but then once it's who you know, it's what you do when you get that door or that window opened, right? So I had a friend of mom and dad's that was in the advertising industry, that was ran the AOL office here in Detroit, and had my dad, oddly enough, ran into him in the airport, as he often runs into people because he lives there practically, and said, hey, you know what, my daughter's interested in potentially working in advertising. Do you have anything for an internship for her? He said, oh gosh, Paul, you know what, that's great. We actually just got approval to have an intern in Detroit. Send me your contact information and we'll go from there. So great, right? Door opened. Now what? Okay, get the resume together, do your research, drive, motivation. What do I want? What do I want AOL to know about me? Why am I a good fit for this position? So I had to interview against probably 4 or 5 other candidates, and I ended up getting the job. Now, was part of that because I knew somebody that was a friend of a parent? Maybe. But I also got hired back at AOL and continued to work there for 5 years. Why did I get hired back? Because once that door was open, I did everything in my power to show them why they picked me, and why that was a good decision. Was a woman. She's a very strong woman, maybe too strong sometimes. I went home crying some nights because she was a little scary. I learned a lot about having confidence in yourself. It's hard being a leader and knowing when to walk away from something, when to pursue something else, and taking a chance and being scared. I love my routine. I love going to work and knowing what I'm doing and having my paycheck and coming home and doing my things in my personal life, and that's all fine. But I got to a place where I was being a little bit complacent at AOL. And I knew I needed a change, but it's scary. Change is scary. It will always be scary when you leave this room, when you go out into the world. college, when you go to that first job interview, it's scary and it's the unknown, right? But sometimes as a leader, you have to believe enough in yourself to say, I can do this. I can overcome this. Did I think I could do that job when my boss went on a maternity leave? No. But I didn't let fear get the best of me. I did it. So I knew I was kind of not happy at AOL, and I had a couple opportunities come my way. I wasn't outwardly looking, because that's scary. And Microsoft approached me and wanted to talk to me about coming over there. I went back and forth, and I took a leap of faith. And I made a great decision. One, I think I definitely advanced my career, and two, I met my fiance, and that will that will forever be a wonderful story of why I left AOL to go to Microsoft. But
the other one. And I just got here because I'm a teacher right at Mason. Did anybody go to Mason? Yay. I wasn't there, but you were, and it's great, and it's still the same, and I'm back, some of your old teachers are still there. So that's hence the flats, I'm on the carpet and whatnot all day. I teach second grade over there. So a little bit about how I got there. So when I was at North, I had to bring this, which is my senior year yearbook. Who's the senior?
Don't rush them.
I know, right? And I don't know if you guys still do this, but it's in 20 years. And we had to write like a little thing about where we would be in 20 years. So I had to get mine out because I was laughing. Because it says, for me, I will be happily married. Remember, I have 20 years. It's only been 8. I don't have to be there yet. Okay, I'll be happily married teaching second grade. Weird. In Grosse Pointe, continuing to dance with the help of caffeine. All true. So, are here. I am living what my perception of a dream is. So I went to the better Michigan school, Michigan State, and
Debatable. Continue. We'll just agree to disagree. We have
yeah,
this
it's
all
been a
time.
rough couple years. So I went to Michigan State, and I knew I wanted to go there because they have the #1 education program, and I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So I got in, got myself going right from the start with my education classes, and realized that I did very well in them because I wanted to be a teacher really badly. So when you really like something, you're going to do it best, right? It's going to be the best thing that you can put yourself and your efforts towards. So I had 50, right? So when I did that, I found myself enjoying what I was doing. When I was there, I was so upset that they never got to run around, right? They're 6 years old, and there was no playground. I mean, it just didn't work like that. So I thought about what I do good. And I was on North's dance team, and I danced at a studio for my whole life. I can't do it. I'm
Some
not.
of us did.
Yeah, and my point is that I didn't care if all of those things were true, which, to be honest with you, it is a tough time in teaching. We are getting cut salary paid. There are a lot of changes in the profession that I'm teaching in and working in right now, but it doesn't matter because I really wanted to do it, and if you really want to do it, then you should. Because I would rather get paid nothing and go to work and do something I love than get paid a lot of money and hate what I do every day. I can't do it. If your heart is not in it, you are not there 150%, and you can't do something 50%. You just can't. Or not for the long haul. So I refused. I refused to do it. So here I go interviewing, and I'm like, now I'm really cocky, right? I'm like, please, I student taught in Detroit. I can handle that. I can do it. I will teach anywhere, which I would have taught anywhere. So all summer long, I was interviewing. I called every single person that I thought I knew, that my parents thought they knew, aunts, of uncles, of neighbors, of friends, and I'm like, hey, my name's Gina. You don't really know me, but your sister lives next door to my mom's really good friend, and I heard you were a teacher. And they were like, okay, like, so about that district you teach in, can you get my resume to the top of the pile? I mean, I was really, to be honest, probably annoying to a lot of people, but I didn't care. Because it's my life
Motivation.
and my job, and I didn't really care, because the worst thing that could happen is every single person hung up that phone and said, how annoying, click, and one person didn't think that. And they put my resume at the top of the pile, and you got the job. I was tenacious. I was really to the point of obnoxiousness. And what happened is I got 4 job offers that summer. 4. In this profession that you can't get a job, and there's not, 2 were in Catholic schools. 1 was in a charter school, Chandler Park Academy, right over by Target, which I actually signed the papers, went to a workshop, training up in Saginaw Valley. I'm up in Saginaw Valley. Get a phone call from Grosse Pointe. I'm in the corner of the room being like, yes, I will accept the job. Really, they have to train on, right? You have to learn what it is you're doing. Like I knew-ish, but I didn't really know. But thankfully those kids are in 4th grade now and they're still reading, so I didn't mess them up too bad, and it's gonna be fine. But just because I obtained that goal, now I can keep going. So now I do homework club after school to help those struggle buses that need a little encouragement. And what I realized was that my experiences in Detroit with some not as privileged children and families were not so different than the cases that you see here and there in Grosse Pointe. We are not that far removed from it. When I went to Mason, I realized that there were still some kids that had tough parent situations, that you can only make yourself happy, and other people can add to that, but no relationship and no friendship should ever validate what you're doing. It should always be you finding things that make you the most happy. And you're starting to build those. You started building those passions when you were little. But now you're thinking about them because you're in a place where you have to start thinking about, what do I like to do? What am I gonna do? Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna live at home anymore. All these things, which by the way, I still live at home. Because I was going for my master's and that cost money, and so I had to be responsible. Do I want to live at home with my mom and dad? Not so much, to be honest, right? I'm 20.
But that passion that you just saw in her for 25 minutes, you can't teach it. It's in her, and it's been in her since she was this big. She's wanted to be a 2nd grade teacher since she was in the 2nd grade, and she's doing it. And I try to pull from Gina's a leader, and I think I'm a leader in my own way, but I try to pull things from Gina that, God, I want to be more passionate about what I do. Like, I sell advertising, guys. It's not that
She
exciting.
doesn't give herself enough credit also, yes.
Professional development group in advertising, and I belong to a few of them. What can I do with them? So I did a college outreach program. I go back to University of Michigan. I talk to classes.
A lot as she became an adult and she found her niche and she became more comfortable with herself. I kind of was always a tell it how it is, I don't care what you think kind of person. Which is good. It has its bonuses and also has its drawbacks because, you can make a lot of people angry when you say things that you shouldn't. But
Be okay with who you are, and you're going to, because you guys are a part of this group, and that's what this group is going to do for you. And teachers like that are going to provide you with the tools and the guidance to say, I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is what I want to do. This is the group I want to be in. And that's important because you go out these doors, like I told you, and it's scary, and you don't know what to expect, and somebody's not going to always be there to say, Gina, I really want you to be a teacher in Grosse Pointe too. Let me help you get there. Owen did that for her. I was there. I was living at home when she was doing her applications and calling every Tom, Dick, and Harry that we knew to say,